How do I get more leads?
How do I stand out in my market?
Is it unprofessional to talk about my kids on Instagram?
Should I have one account or two?
Do I really need a personal brand as a real estate agent?
We are the Modern Agent Marketing Girls. We are two agents turned marketing experts who believe you can become the go-to real estate girl in your market all because you are you. I'm Chelsea Peterson, founder and CEO of Modern Agent Social Club.
And I'm Kayla Fox, Modern Agent's content creator. Let us be your guide as we talk about what it means to market your real estate business the modern way.
So refill your favorite beverage, open your notes app, and get ready to build a business and a brand you're obsessed with. Let's go.
We're back.
Welcome back.
We are talking about all things local today.
I love local. It's my favorite.
It is the best, and I feel super passionate about it because I think so many agents, not that they miss the mark on it, but they miss the fun with it, and they miss the way that local content can actually expand their brand and like actually grow their business, not just like make people aware that they serve that
like a fluff or like a fluff piece.
Yes,
too.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, but I want to ask you first because last night we were watching Gilmore Girls, and I feel like Gilmore Girls is that like feel good show that everybody, like especially in the fall, like they have to turn it on. And it's just like that comfort, nostalgic, kind of feel. And a lot of that I think has to do with their town, right? Like the gazebo.
Stars Hollow.
Yes.
The name.
The grocery store.
Luke's.
Yes. The people there.
You just want to be there.
All of those things.
You know what they don't talk about is where is there a Target, Costco?
They don't exist in the world. It is all...
They don't need Target and Costco.
Picturesque.
They have, Dosie's Market?
They do have Dosie's.
That's all they need is Dosie's Market. They're like 3 aisles.
Yeah, they have all the entertainment they need between their theater and their dance classes.
Their local town meetings.
Yes.
I'm reading a book right now called Cinnamon Bun Bookstore.
Yes.
And the one prior was called the Pumpkin Spice Cafe, and now I'm almost done, and there's a third called Christmas Tree Farm.
Oh my gosh.
But the town is named Dream Harbor, and they're all like take place in Dream Harbor, and they do like the town hall meetings, and it's very Gilmore Girls vibes.
I love
it's
that.
really cute.
I've been seeing those books, and I've not read them yet, but now I want to.
They're Gilmore Girls, but what do you call the books that are like, the girls like them. That's what we'll say.
The girls like them.
Like girls like them. Like, what is the word for like sex?
Oh, like spicy? Oh my god.
Spicy! Oh my god, I could not think of the word. The word in my head was like racy. I'm like, what does that mean?
Oh my gosh, I love this. I love how this is starting off. I think this is going to be a really good show today.
Already, with local, I just named 3 local places.
Yes.
Bookstore, coffee shop, Christmas tree farm.
Yes.
So, if you need 3 local content ideas and you're just here for that, there you go. There's 3.
There you go.
But we're going to get a lot deeper, so.
Yes. Do you ever wonder why, like I feel like looking at this town of Stars Hollow, it's not, when you really break those things down, right? We're talking,
I can't get out of my head that I spelled that. I just couldn't think of what else to say. And I use the word spicy a lot.
I love that it made you so flustered, too.
Oh my god. I was like the girls like them. Okay.
When you said girls like them, I was like, a rom-com? I was confused.
Follow me for more book recommendations. Said, hi, Chelsea Peterson.
We need to have you rate
Oh my god.
spicy books. I love this. Okay. We're regrouped. We're on this. Okay, my point was that we love Stars Hollow, not because the town is anything special.
Right.
But because, like, we were immersed in that story. Like, we saw the things that happened at the diner and at the bookstore and in the gazebo. Like, all of those, like, moments. And it just, that's why it feels so nostalgic to us,
I was like,
right?
there's a bookstore there? There is. I think Lane works in it or something.
Okay,
but
I'm
it's very
thinking of,
minimal.
like, Rory in the library.
Oh, yeah.
Like, library stuff.
Okay, sorry.
Anyways, yeah, I feel like
No,
you
'cause
just
you're-
called out my Gilmore
No, it's
Girls
fine. It's because I just said bookstore, and I was like, is there a bookstore?
Oh, that's funny.
Okay, no.
No.
I would have said the same thing, because I'm still on, like, the Christmas tree farm, and there is not one. I have peppermint oil on my temples, and it's going into my eyes now, because I'm crying. Okay, Anyways, we could cut this part out.
No, we are professional.
Podcast editor. I don't even have one. Okay.
Oh my gosh, I love this.
Now we have to cut it out. We'll just chop.
We'll have our editor.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. See, and this is why I love our community, because the truth is, like, I hope a lot of women are laughing along with us right now.
Yeah, exactly. Don't take yourself too seriously.
Exactly.
Ever. But no, seriously, you're immersed into the story. And, like, I think of this, too, because I'm, like, we like aesthetic things. You're like, well, my coffee shop is, you just told me today, your coffee shop isn't cute at all. And I think, like, well, no one cares that Luke's Diner, it's not really that cute.
No.
It's, like, old and, like, whatever, but it, like, is cute because it is the place. Like,
we care about it because that's where Lorelai goes.
Yes.
That's where she finds love.
Right.
Yes.
And I think, like, with the whole town, it's, like, everyone goes on these, like, you've seen the reels where they're going to Stars Hollow, or, like, this town looks just like Stars Hollow.
They make me all want to go.
Yeah, but then people are commenting, like, stop telling people about our town.
Oh.
Like, you're going to bring all the tourism here. But no, seriously, people just, like, want to recreate that. But I think, like, if we can do the same thing where we live. What are you laughing at now?
I'm sorry.
You're still going.
I just hate this.
Oh my god. We will not be doing a book club episode.
No, I think this is so fantastic. Okay, I will say that in our members group, we with Modern Agent Social Club, we provide them a lot of local content.
Like
and
prompts, templates.
Yeah, it's just like content. I plug this in and, have this work for your brand or your town. And I feel like sometimes the pushback that we get is like, I don't live in a cool city.
Right.
My town isn't cute. I'm not very involved. And so those are all the things that we really want to address, because we want to prove that, like, it doesn't take this, like, quintessential town for you to be able to have great content. Like, all it takes is having an eye for it and knowing what to look for and knowing, like, feeling confident with what you're sharing. So the first thing I want to ask you about is, this is what most agents do, and there's nothing wrong with this. In fact, I think it's a great thing to do. Most agents, first of all, put their town in their bio on Instagram, which is solid. And if you're not doing that, you need to do that.
I still feel like I see a lot of agents who I don't see it.
Yes.
And I'll randomly sneak it into our game plan and be like, hey,
Just
if your location isn't here, make sure you put it there.
Yes. But also, they share local events. So let's talk about these local events that they're sharing and how they are helping their business and how they might be hurting their business. What are your thoughts on sharing local events?
I think with anything you do with Instagram or social media, it should be very intentional. So if you're on there and you're thinking, who is this for and why am I posting this, or like, what is the benefit? Obviously, sharing a list of local events could be beneficial because someone could say, oh, I want to do this and this. But it almost turns into feeling like, in the days when people would share the calendar of national holidays.
Yes.
And then people would, like, make, like, Happy Turkey Day is a thing. But, like, Happy National Shoe Day or whatever. It almost has that feeling to me where it's, like, kind of, it doesn't have a point. Because the events are probably so across the board that it's not really for your ideal follower or the person who's typically consuming your content or who you want to consume your content. And I think, like, with everything, if you can be more intentional about, like, I'm going to share the events that I, as a city name, let's just make up a name. I, as a Stars Hollow agent, go to these 5 events every year. Or, as a Stars Hollow real estate agent, these are my favorite restaurants. Or, like, and that's not events. But I think if you can be more specific with, like, what do I do that I'm kind of recommending versus just, like, here's this list you could probably pull from Google or Facebook. I kind of have a rule in my own, like, in my business. Like, I'm not going to teach what you can find on Google. Which is a lot.
Gosh.
But it's kind of taking, like, to me, a list of national holidays, a list of local events is, like, anyone can Google that and find it. But you can't Google, like, well, what does, like, my real estate agent love to do with her kids? Or what does my real estate agent love to do with her spouse or her clients or whatever? Like, these are the places I gift my clients gift cards every single closing because they're blah, blah. Like, that makes it so much more personal and so much more I want to read that, I want to consume it, versus like local events, maybe I would screenshot it and be like, oh, is there anything on there? But if I was thinking like, oh, where are all the fall things to do that are like cozy home, like homey vibes, that's what I want to know. Like, like I want to know like a specific thing. Like that's my style, so that's probably what I would share.
Yes.
And people would know me for like, oh, she shares all the cozy, cute, like Hallmarky events. Yes. And that'd be my thing.
And that's what I think is so important, because I think that the agents who are just sharing local events are doing a good job, but I think that they are just missing the meat of it. So it's kind of like two birds with one stone. Like, instead of just sharing local events that are happening in your town that month, why don't you share like the events that you are going to, that you can't wait for? And then not only are you being a resource for those in your neighborhood, not only are you sharing, you know, your city name in your, like for SEO and whatnot, people are able to find you, but people are also getting to know you more and like building trust with you. And when they go to those events, if they see you, they're going to be like, well, of course she's here. Like, I need to go talk to her, you know? So I just feel like they're missing the mark, not because what they're doing is wrong, but because like there's just a much better, you can get so much more bang for your buck.
Yes.
If you're more strategic.
I think about like where I do go over and over and over, and if I was sharing, like when I share those in my stories and then I go there, I always see people I know and they're like, oh, like I've been wanting to come to this because you always talk about it. Or like I just saw my chiropractor at one of our Stonebank farm nights and she was like, this is our first time here, like I love it here, I always see you post about it in your stories. And it just makes it, in a way, feel on brand to you, which when I say that, all it really means is like you kind of are known for being at these events or at these establishments or these restaurants. Like, these are your go-tos. Everyone wants, like, their go-tos. Like, if you think of Instagram as a whole, what is, like, 99% of the content? It's people kind of sharing their go-tos. Here's what I wear to... I'm trying to think of, like, an influencer. Here's what I wear to an influencer event. Here's what I'm wearing on my vacation. Here's what I packed in my bag. Here's what I'm eating for lunch as a blah, blah, blah. Here's what I make for my kid lunches. Here's, like... It's, like, this recommendation, but, like, personal to what the account is for. So you, as the agent, if you like are going to these events anyways, then share that you go there and you're going to connect with like the other, you know, ladies in their 30s who want to know what there is to do with their girlfriends. Or you're going to connect with other guys in town even. I know we talk about girls a lot, but like where they go golfing. Yeah. And girls can golf too. But I'm just saying, like, what's another avenue? Or like where you play tennis. Like, not everyone... If you don't do it yourself, I wouldn't post about it. That's kind of where I am circling back to, because it's almost like when you listen to an ad and you're like, they don't use that.
Right.
Like, it sounds so...
Like when Jennifer Aniston's like, this shampoo that's like herbal essences.
Yeah, like you don't use herbal essences.
Yeah.
And it just seems so inauthentic, I guess. But when you're sharing what you're personally... Like, I want to know what shampoo she really uses. Yes. I want to know what yoga program she really does. Yes. I want to know, like, Jennifer Aniston salad. I think that is legit. So, remember that blew up and it's Jennifer Aniston. But I guess, like, the point is, if you can make it more aligned with who you are, your content is so much more powerful. And then the businesses that are connected to that are going to be like, oh my gosh, like, she keeps sharing about my business. Yes. And I have this example. One of our members, we have like a holiday guide, and it's customizable to like where you live, and you can share. And I think one time to share events that's a little bit different would be like a seasonal thing. Like, what is there to do at Christmas in my city? Yeah. I think that's fine. Share a list. But like on a monthly, weekly basis, I don't think it's necessary. However, so she did this reel where she's flipping through the guide and then she's like on the green screen talking about the events. Yes. And I looked at her comments and so many people were like, oh my God, thank you so much for including me. Thank you for featuring me. This is amazing. And I'm like, how cool is that? Not that you even need a guide. Like, that's maybe for down the road if you're just starting out. But like, to connect with these business owners who also are a big part of your city. Like, you're a local business as much as they are, even though they may have a brick and mortar or an Etsy shop. Like, who knows what it is? Everyone's completely different. But I think it's just so cool to see the support from local business to local business. And absolutely. People appreciate it so much. Like, it's such a relationship builder.
Yeah. I was going to mention that the member who was sharing, like, the beer gardens in her community.
Oh, she's here in Wisconsin.
Okay, yes. And it's just funny when you think about
Shout out Lindsay Mertz.
Okay, yes.
She's been a member since day one.
Has she?
Or month one. Yeah.
She nails it. And what's so funny about it is, like, I'm not, like, a beer drinker, but, like, when she posts specific content like that, it makes me look at her in her area and think, like, she knows her area well. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, it makes me, like, trust her and like her more because I understand that she is, like, an expert and that she actually knows a place. Anyone can, like what you said, anyone can Google what's going on in my town this weekend. You know what I mean? Like, you can go to, like, your local, like, community center or whatever and probably find all of that information.
Right.
But people want to hear it from you. People want to hear your take on it. And hear, like, the kinds of things that you would be interested in. So I think that's so smart. Before we dive any deeper, though, I want to, like, clarify the one thing that people always get hung up on. What if someone lives in a small town and they're actually part of, like, several towns, and they don't want to alienate anybody, but they also don't really have anything in their town to call out? Like, how do we help people narrow down? We'd say, like, call this your city name guide, or call this or say that you're the city name expert. Like, how do people actually say that if they don't, like, live in a big city where it's obvious?
I have two things. One is, like, if there's nothing in your town, my one tip is go to the post office. Every post office, I am convinced, is so cute.
Yeah.
So that's just one tip. Because, like, the post office is still a local thing. Mm-hmm. Like, a local thing. Allie Sweezy, she just posted on her stories. It was snowing. She had, like, the perfect Hallmark moment. She has letters that she's dropping off that have cute little postage on them. Cute. And it's her post office through the window of her car. And it's just, like, a Hallmark moment. I'm like, I responded, and I'm like, every post office is cute. I'm just convinced. So that's one thing. Think beyond just, like, oh, I don't have, like, a cute restaurant or a cute coffee shop, a library, whatever. But to the point of, what was the second part of this?
Just, like, what?
Oh, what to call it.
Yes. How would you word it?
Well, I don't know if we gave this tip or someone did it, but, like, saying in and around your largest metropolitan city. So in and around Denver, Chelsea Herald did that. In and around Milwaukee. Or, like, if you're in a small town that has, like, where I live, it's a bunch of small towns, it would be, like, you could say Lake Country.
Yep.
If you have multiple, it's like some people have, like, the Tri-Cities, another member of ours does, like, the 515. She does her area code.
Yes, area code,
so, like,
zip code.
Yeah, the area code, zip code, that's still going to cover, like, a decent range.
Yeah.
Without saying, like, oh, well, this area code would be, like, 5 cities, but what do you call those cities, you know?
Yeah.
I really like that. That's, like, her thing. And it's, I remember that. Also because my family has that area code in Iowa.
Oh, yeah.
But still, I remember it.
Yeah.
So I think things like that, like, get creative. You don't need to put yourself in a box. And we do say in, like, asterisk, city name a lot. But just you're popping in whatever makes sense for you.
Yeah.
And it doesn't...
You're talking about, like, the modern agent content.
Yeah.
We're doing that to members.
Or if we're giving you an example on here or whatever, like, just swap it for what makes sense. And I think, like, the other part to the location is if you, for example, in and around Milwaukee, and you're like, oh my gosh, like, that's gonna be, like, 8,000 restaurants and 8,000 events, and, like, that's a lot of content. I'm like, the goal isn't to post every single local event, because that's overwhelming, and that's not your job. Just like the calendar thing, which it went out of, that's not a thing anymore. People do national days. That isn't a thing either. Like, you don't need to be, like, you're not the Chamber of Commerce.
Right.
Or the city website. Like, you're just a real estate agent sharing your favorite things to do. Because if you think about it, like, and we talk about this a lot, and we will more on the podcast, is, like, the lifestyle of why someone is moving. It's not, like, just about the house. It's not just about they need 3 bedrooms, they need the school district. It's like, but what are they getting on the other side? They're getting more room to grow their family. They're getting more room to host at the holidays because they love to do that, and that's their dream of homeownership or whatever. Yep. They're getting the ability to paint their walls whatever colors they want. They're getting the ability to get a dog or 3. Like, it's so much deeper than that. And I think when we think about even local content, like, that's part of where they're living too.
Yeah.
Like, they're also living where that pizza place delivers here. I'm so excited. Yes. Or, oh my gosh, we could walk downtown in, like, 15 minutes or ride our bikes. And did you know that trail is back here? We could just do that every weekend in the summer, take our kids to the lake. Like, you're building this picture of a lifestyle through sharing local content, not just that I'm, like, trying to get a connection with this business owner. And I think that's another thing when you're, it's like a misconception with business stuff and social media is, like, what am I going to get out of this? And it's more like you have to think deeper than that. Like, ultimately, I help people find home that they love in this city, or I help them sell their home for the most money. So with that being said, like, what is the lifestyle of this area? What is, like, what are they going to do at Christmas time? What events would they like to go to? And how can I kind of show them that lifestyle through my own content?
Yeah. And, you know, we've talked about, like, brand menu and whatnot, and how you can use your personal brand, your personal taste, the everyday parts of your life to attract clients to you who are like-minded, or who like similar things, or who appreciate those things about you. So you think about, like, for myself, like, having young kids, like, it would be beneficial for me probably to be sharing content, like, as far as local events, about, like in the summer, when does our pool open? Or what are the best parks to go to for, you know, toddler moms, or those kind of things. If I'm thinking about where, like, my brother and sister-in-law live, and their friends and the kind of people that they are around, they would probably be sharing more about, like, what's happening downtown as far as, like, the art scene, or, like, cool new restaurants that have opened, or, like, I don't want to say nightlife like in a club way, but you know what I mean? Like, it's a different feel. And it's not because I wouldn't enjoy working with them or they wouldn't enjoy working with me. It's just because that's their people and that's what they're interested in. And that would feel very on brand. So if someone would see them sharing those things, that would make sense. If someone would see me sharing those things, when I share, I still share, like, our local football schedule because I'm the coach's wife.
That makes sense.
Totally makes sense. It would probably be weird if someone else did, but, like, that makes sense for me. So it's another way.
Or if your kid is on the football team.
Yeah.
And you're an agent.
It's another way to just serve your community and remind them who you are, what you do, what you're into, create more connection points with them. So it's just, it's almost like working smarter and not harder, right?
Another way you can spin this that I really love, and I think agents love this, is kind of, so it's local, but you're kind of spinning it in a different way. Like, where I would live if ...
Yes.
Where I would live in Lake Country if I wanted to be walking distance to the downtown. Or where I would live if I wanted a private yard. And now you're featuring neighborhoods. And now you're out in your community, like, showing, like, here's the neighborhood. Like, It's not just about the house for sale, but it's about, like, let's say someone is watching your content. I used to joke when I was selling real estate that I converted everyone to move out here because I loved it so much when we moved out here. And I did. My dad moved out here. My mom moved out here. My brother moved out here. I had some friends move out here. I'm still working on Lauren. But anyways, it's just, like, where I would live if, and, like, almost think through, like, different of your, like, favorite client or ideal client scenarios. Like, where would they want to live? Because they have little kids. Where would they want to live? They want to, like, hang out with their neighbors every day. Where would they want to live? They want to, you know, and I could pinpoint neighborhoods right now in my head. Yeah. But you could actually turn that into content.
Yes.
And you're still kind of bringing in, like, well, yeah, you're walking distance to the ice cream shop. Yeah. Or you can get pizza delivered from the pizza place everyone's obsessed with.
Yeah. And I feel like it needs to be said, we're in no way trying to violate any fair housing laws here. Like, this is not about how, like, if you are a family, you should do this, or if you are whatever. But, like, hey, if you love the pool, or if you love shopping downtown, or if you love our, like, parades and festivals in the summer, like, these might be places you enjoy living. So it's not about, like,
well, that's why you word it in, these are the things I do. Yeah. That it makes it so much easier. You don't have anything to worry about. Like, this is where I would live if I wanted to walk to the beach. Yeah. This is where I would live if I wanted to see the lake. Yep. You know, like, there's so many ways you could go down.
If I had dogs or chickens.
Yeah. If I wanted chickens. Because, like, a lot of people want stuff like that, and there's HOAs. Like, where would I live if I didn't want an HOA? Because I don't want someone to tell me what to do. I want to build a shed without getting approval from the whole subdivision. You know?
And again, someone technically could Google that, but they'd rather hear it from you. They'd rather hear it from someone who knows their area well, who they've already connected with. They've already talked to them about Gilmore Girls. They've already talked to them about, you know, what they were doing that weekend or whatever. And now they're like, hey, wait, what neighborhood was that you mentioned? Like, I'm curious. Yeah. And yes, these are like, this is the long game, right? Like, this is not like a short, quick win to get someone on your email list or to get someone, to have a client consult, which we'll talk about those things too in other podcast episodes. But I feel like it was important for us to talk about these couple of things first because these are so foundational. Like, if you are not doing these things, but you're doing all the trends, you're probably not going to see success because these are like the lay down foundation. You have to build your house on this for it to stand.
And I think it's hard because Instagram has a lot of advice. Like, it is like whiplash. Yeah. Reel after carousel after carousel after whatever's in your Explore page when you refresh your feed every 20 minutes.
Yep.
You're getting advice from someone in some way about something, probably social media related or marketing related. And it's like, not all those people ever had a real estate license, ever sold real estate, ever. They're not a marketing expert necessarily. Like, you just don't know. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the Instagram wide advice is more for like online businesses. And that's why I felt like this, maybe our trailer kind of talked about this, but like the passion behind like starting this was like our real estate girls need, like, I think it would be fun for them, whether they need the information or not, like fun to have a podcast that is for them specifically.
Yeah.
Like, that we dive into these things like local and like how those things play into like other, like, using Instagram. It's not just about like the hacks and the trends and the going viral and like all the things. I recently shared in our members' private podcast about this reel that I saw. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to find it because I feel like I need to read it to make it make sense. Mm-hmm. But I don't know how to use this new phone. I feel like I'm 87 years old because they updated this and now I can't find like my favorites.
Mine was updated too, and I felt very confused the other day.
Favorites. Okay. Here it is. It said, I want to live in the trees and feel like I'm in a forest while still being 9 minutes from Target, Costco, and a great hospital. I love being by a great hospital because it makes you feel safe. Yes. And then you go 7 layers deep on that so that if my kid has something happen, we're near a hospital so that, whatever, peace of mind. What is the song? There's no $sign on a peace of mind.
Yes, little Zach Brown band.
Yeah. Anyways, this reel has 430,000 likes at the time that I screenshotted it and 193,000 shares, 42,000 saves. And I'm not saying this is required to be successful on Instagram by any means. If 100 local people are following you, you are successful on Instagram.
Yes.
And you have the ability to turn them into clients and referrals. Mm-hmm. But this proves a point that powerful local content or that local content is powerful. And this was very specific that she included Target, Costco, and a hospital. Now, if I was someone else, you may say there are 7 golf courses surrounding or within miles from 7 different golf courses and the beach and blah, blah. Like, you're going to point out different features based on what you do, who you are, what you like. I'll share who she is. It's RachelConkle.Realtor. And after I saw this, I actually sent it to Kayla and I was like, this is crazy. This is like the content we talk about constantly. And she blew up over this. And we kind of did some digging on it. And what was the reason that...
it was interesting because there was no face in the video, which we are very big about having an online presence to be, put your face out there, let people know who you are, let people hear your voice. This video did not have any of that. In fact, most of hers don't. The thing about hers I think is interesting is that a lot of her reels are very similar and consistent in style. So a lot of them show these beautiful places. Mm-hmm. And all of it draws people in. So if one time you look at that and think like, oh, I want to live there, or oh, that's my town, you're probably going to watch and like and comment on every video that she posts from there on out. And you become known for that and become consistent there. And then you become the expert in that area that people want to turn to.
I think, too, with the not face part, and this is another really good point, those views don't necessarily equate to income.
Absolutely not.
Or clients or even referrals. But the point is that it's proving that people enjoy consuming that style of content.
Yes.
And that's what the purpose of it is. Now, maybe she does have great results. I have no idea what her results are. But the point is, my advice, like, you could still say, like, maybe you convert a lot more people if you could see who you are, Not that every single reel needs your face, but sometimes,
Absolutely.
A lot of her reels have a lot of views.
So, and that's what's so interesting, because let's think about all the ways that we can be sharing local content. Like, all of the ways that we remind people where we serve real estate. So we've talked about, like, sharing local events that matter to you, right? And like sharing your perspective. We've talked about, just having your location in your bio and all of that. What was the other one that we had mentioned? We mentioned another one. I'm not thinking of it right now. But like, what are other places or other ways that we can share local content that is powerful?
Beyond
just like
media.
local events.
Oh, beyond local events.
Like we talked about like local businesses. So like sharing
yeah.
local businesses.
You could do a series.
Yeah.
Which we're going to talk about more, where it's like my favorite things to do in this area, this city. And you highlight a different place each week. And just think about, like, I think about not only the cliffhanger it leaves for the person wanting to see your next favorite place, but the conversations you have around it that are like, oh my God, we love that place too. Or, hey, how is this blank, blank, blank? Or let me know. The people start asking you questions about it, right? And it's like all of a sudden you become this like go-to in your community for like everything about living there. And that's really cool because people are looking to you for multiple things. You are still a real estate agent, but you're the real estate agent who also like loves where she lives and wants other people to love it too.
Yes.
So I think sharing things that you truly like, but it could be anything like that. Like, do you go to the farmer's market on Saturday? Then share that when you do that on Saturdays. And then maybe if that's you, then you share a farmer's market. Like, here's my favorite farmer's markets in this area. And you do like a reel with the dates and the locations for the summer.
And it could be in your town or it could be within an hour's drive or whatever. Yeah. Like wherever people in your town are actually going.
Or like for us, we're like an hour from Madison. Madison has the coolest farmer's market ever. So if I went to that, I probably would share about it. Yeah. Like, hey, if you ever have a Saturday day trip to take, like go to the Madison farmer's market. It's worth the drive. Like it's so fun. Yeah. And not that I'm trying to get clients in Madison, but you're almost telling the people around here, like, did you know it's only like an hour to go to the farmer's market and it's so worth it?
People think that's so interesting.
I would get lunch here. Like, and it's not that you're doing it every day. It's not that you're doing it like constantly, but you just get more, what did you say in the beginning? You're like, you start to like be more aware of your opportunity to document it. Or
you have to leverage it. It's not just about sharing it, but like, how can I really work this to my advantage? I think that's what modern agents do differently. It's not just about having an email list. It's about serving emails that are like so great that they can't help but open it. You know what I mean? And like, and we'll get into all of those things too. But like everything that you do, think about how you can do it the modern way so that you can have those slow mornings at home with your kids on the couch. So that you can have date night with your husband and not worry about a Zillow lead, like contact you and say, I need to see a house right now. Like when you start putting these things into practice, you get to live your life and you get to live the lifestyle that you've been wanting. You get to enjoy the benefit of like the reason that you became a real estate agent to begin with, which I think for most people is having freedom, having flexibility, being able to do what they want to do.
Yeah, 100%. And with that being said, like with local content, you like if you did like this is more strategic, but if you had this series on Instagram and you do have an email list, well, a valuable way to connect with your email list would be to say, hey, I have this series on Instagram where I highlight a local place every week. Can you reply and let me know one of your favorite places in this area so I can feature them?
Yes.
And now you're having conversations with the people you might not have talked to for 3 years because they get your emails and they're in your database, but maybe you either A, don't email them regularly, and you don't really ask them questions for them to answer. Right. Again, it's like that come along with me content that we talked about in episode 2 is in all aspects of this. It's like, come along with me to our city, come along with me to a showing, come along with me to write an offer. Like, how do I do it? What does it look like? Let's break it all down, but in my own way. Not like in a
way that only you can share.
Right.
So even if I'm sharing the same content, mine's going to look completely different from yours.
Right.
Because my town's different. What I'm drinking on the way there is different. The people that I'm meeting with are different.
What if you do live in the same town?
It'll still look totally different. Yeah. Totally different. What do you always say about the wedding? Like if you had a wedding?
I say if you were getting married and so was the other agent in your market, would you have the same people at your wedding?
Right.
Like not at all.
Even if you were good friends.
Maybe you have a couple crossover. And with that, like, I feel like that makes it so much freeing, more like your mind just so free to be like, do it your way. And when you do things like, I'm going to do this series, I'm going to send this to my email list, I'm going to share what I did this weekend. It is completely uncopyable content.
Yeah.
And yes, someone else could share the same restaurant, someone else could shop at the same boutique, someone else could go to the farmer's market, but they can't share it the way you're going to.
Right.
Even if they copied everything about it. And that's where you insert what we talked about in episode 2 with the brand menu, your on-brand beverage, the fact that you take your kids, the fact that you're going to show houses after the farmer's market. Like, you're bringing it all together.
Yeah. And it's becoming your brand.
Right.
More than just she sells real estate. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Another way that I think people can leverage local more, and ironically enough, I don't think they take advantage of it, is with their listings. So instead of just sharing the features of the home when they're sharing, even if they do like beautiful tour videos and whatnot, a lot of them don't talk about the actual town that this takes place in. Or like, does that neighborhood have the best trick-or-treating? Like, that should be mentioned in the listing video. Let's hear it.
We sold our house last year, and I loved our neighborhood for trick or treat. It was so much fun. Everyone brought like their little solo stove. Is that what those things are called?
Yeah.
Out to the driveway. They would have like adult beverages. They'd have like, it's just so fun. And it was like this big party. And then my family would always come over, and we'd like make chili and soup, and like it was this whole event. Well, so when we sold our house, I made a top 10 list, because that's what I always did with my clients. Of like, here are the top 10 things I love about living here. The couple who bought our house, the girl, I did not know this till after the closing. The girl who bought our house told our agent, she said, I love, or trick or treat is my favorite, or Halloween is my favorite holiday. And I saw the trick or treat thing on that list, and it got me so excited to move here. And then my son was born on Halloween, so it was like this big circle moment of like, oh my gosh, that's so cool.
So full circle.
Then we moved to our new subdivision, and I'm like all excited for trick or treat. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't wait. I get everything ready, blah blah blah, and it was freezing, but also not a single person came to our house.
Such a bummer.
No one came to our house, and we went trick or treating. The first house, no one was there. Second house, they did open the door. Like, no one ever trick or treats here. I'm like, where did I move? I'm like, that's. And now
what kind of monsters are you?
Yeah, I'm on year 2 of living here. I'm like, I think we should move, Mark.
That's so funny.
But seriously, I love this holiday, and now I'm like, it's just disappointing. So the reason is, I need to conclude this story. We're part of the homeowners association across the street, which is like a humongous subdivision. Ours is really tiny, but we're technically like the same. Like, we can use their amenities and blah blah blah. So everyone here goes over there because it's way more houses, and they're close together, and it's bam, bam, bam. You can get all the candy quickly.
Yeah.
So I'm like, but still, why can't we just start a thing where we do this first for like even the first half hour or the last half hour? I don't know.
The little cookout, and then everyone go over there together.
It's so depressing. So
yeah, but it's true, and like, what a cool selling point. Maybe the people who bought your house were debating between another house and that one. Like, when you let them in on the lifestyle of that, which is like a whole other topic, but like, that's what we're talking about. Like, local content is it's just so beyond, like, the businesses, the list of businesses in town, or the list of vendors, like, all of those things. And all of those things are good still, but there's so much more. I want to tell you an idea that I always had for my listings, and I never did it once, even though I haven't had a million listings, because I don't do it full time. But I think this is such a genius idea, and I want someone to steal this and tag me in their photos, okay? So, football coach's wife, realtor. I always thought it would be so fun to like gamify my listings by buying some kind of eagle, which is our mascot, buying some kind of eagle, like stuffed animal or something, and hiding it in specific photos for the listing, whatever. And then when I share the listing photos, instead of just sharing like, hey, there's this house, I would gamify it by saying like, count how many eagles you see, and like, email it to me here, and you'll be entered to win whatever. You know what I mean? But
and now
like,
you get them on your email list.
Yes, and make it something where like, even if people could care less about the house, they want to win.
Yeah.
Or they think it's a funny idea or something. You know what I mean? Like, and it's local. Like, it's like, we're the Eagles. Like, that's a Columbia City house. You know, like, that's exciting.
I love that idea.
Yes, I just think it'd be so fun. So I feel like even with your listings, there are things that you can leverage, even if you're just talking about the events that happen around there in your listings.
In the neighborhood.
Yes,
and
record those
sellers.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have all those conversations beforehand, because people are going to move to a house, not just, the number one reason people move is because of location. Like, that's the big reason. So, like, why not truly leverage that and lean into it and make something happen with it?
I think that would be such a fun idea.
Yeah. My other thought is, content that feels like comforting or that makes people feel like heard or seen. And I love the reels that leverage this. So they'll take clips from around their town, whether it's in like cute stores in their town, or maybe they take quick little like videos of their like town sign, or like the flags, the coffee shops, all those things, and they gather it together and they put something like point of view, like you and your girlfriend have a shopping day on a Saturday morning in this town. Now, is that specific thing, unless you live like in a vacation town, it's probably not going to go viral. It's probably not going to get shared 5 million times. But people in your town, people who could actually buy or sell from you, are going to look at that and they're going to like it. And a lot of them are going to want to share it with their friend or whatever. And if you, and again, it's not just about posting one, but if you consistently post content like that, that makes people feel like that's what I want to do. Or like, that's exactly, or like the ones where they're like, point of view, you drive around town listening to this music by picking up coffees from this place and you visit this, event or store or whatever. Like, it makes you want to share it with your girlfriends and be like, let's go.
And it makes you like, I've done that.
Yes.
That's what we do.
Yes.
Like, let's do it again. Yeah. And I think with all of this, it's not trying to do all of these ideas either.
No.
It's pick one style, kind of like that reel that went viral. Like I said, she kind of had the similar style. Now, maybe you add in this pop of brand menu, pop of yourself. I think you make that even stronger as from a conversion standpoint. But also, like, see how it goes for a while. Like, maybe every Friday you do the same style of local post.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be, I'm going to try all the things, but we're trying to give you, like, a no excuse mindset. Yes. There is no excuse. No matter where you live, we will find something cool for you to post.
Because those, like, video clips, by the way, you can reuse them over and over again.
Over.
So, like we've talked before, like, take a video of, like, the sign that says, like, welcome to this town, and you're going in.
Look at Schitt's Creek.
Right, exactly. Like, take a video of the coffee shop, or take a video of, even if it's not necessarily, like, the cutest, most adorable, like, Stars Hollow-esque type of place, or, like, super cool city. Like, have them be recognizable places, have them be, when you start stitching those things together, and when you add a little bit of music to it, and then you add a little bit of personality with what you're saying, like, people feel something. And I know, like, that's one thing that I did when I first became, like, a modern agent and started sharing this kind of content, was sharing, like, okay, the best places to go here, like the whole, like, gas station pop example. But I would have people comment on my things who, like, knew me from other places or, like, lived out of state, and they would be like, this makes me want to move there. And I would laugh because I'm thinking, like, my town is actually not, like, the most special thing ever. But, like, the way that I portrayed it, it was exactly the kind of place where people would want to come, where people would want to raise their kids, where people would want to find work and all of those things. So there's just so much power in that. And the truth is, if they ever moved anywhere close to where I was at, they would have called me, because they'd have been like, well, she knows it and she loves it and she'll give me her best advice.
Yes, exactly. And that's the trust that comes through all of it.
Yeah, absolutely. One other question before we wrap this up is people who just maybe are just homebodies, or people who maybe they have, little kids or whatever, and these agents don't do a lot in their communities. What would you say to them to help them still leverage local content, even when they're not, like, super involved in their communities?
I really think, and this may sound like out of your comfort zone style of a thing, but, like, you have to get out in your community in some capacity, because you are a local business. So if you want to be referred and all of the things, like, you want more clients, you want people to, like, support your business, you need to also support businesses. And it doesn't have to be that you're going to every beer garden and every carnival and every event and festival, but you could also, like, go get a local pie from a bakery and take a picture of it and share that everyone loved it and here's my favorites, or, like, whatever. Or you could do a giveaway for a company that has something like that. Or I'm sure, like, your kids might want to get an ice cream one day in the summer. That's local content. You probably have to go to the post office once a year.
The hardware store.
I sure don't go to the post office enough. I have a whole trunk full of returns. But yeah, the hardware store. Like, even thinking of, like, a TV show, like Friends. What is one of the biggest parts of their show?
Central Perk.
What is one of the biggest parts of Gilmore Girls?
Luke's.
What is one of the biggest parts of The Office? I don't know the answer.
Well, they talk about a couple different places that are in Scranton, but they talk about Scranton a lot. Like
Ohio?
Yeah. Ohio? Isn't it? No, it's Pennsylvania. Isn't there, like, Poor Man Richard's or something is, like, a bar that they go to once in a while? I think that's what it's called. I might be butchering that. But yes, there are, like, these iconic places, and it's not because these places are super special. Like, it's because that's just where they go. And I'm thinking about, like,
it can be the same place on repeat.
And I think that's more powerful.
That's how I became famous in my city. I'm just kidding. I'm not famous, but we
walk into Roots and everyone's like, it's Chelsea.
Roots. Well, the owners do know me, and some of the people who work there recognize us. Like when we took Henry there when he was a week old, and we ordered like coffee and breakfast, and they like said, it's on the house, congratulations, and I just like had tears in my eyes, and I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. But Roots was like my place that I would meet clients. I would go there before appointments. I would document my real estate career there. Like I'm setting up a buyer search. I'm on my way to a showing. I'm this, that, getting coffees for closings.
Yeah.
And Roots was like my brand menu, which I didn't know was the name of it at the time, but it was part of my brand.
Yeah.
100%.
And you could have done all of those things from home, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
But taking the time to go out is leveraging local. Them. It's working smarter, not harder. Yeah. And look how many, like, birds and stones you got.
Right. And then I feel like because of that, like, people just know you for that.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, are we going to meet at Roots for our buyer?
Yeah.
Appointment or consultation, and like
it
was just fun. It honestly, like at the end of the day, makes your business more fun. And I also am a total homebody, so like, but I also love supporting local. I love going to get coffee, and it was like one simple thing that I repeated over and over and over, and kind of accidentally at the beginning of that. And then I'm like, wait, this is like working. Like people are asking me questions because of this now. I kind of intentionally added the real estate thing, but I didn't really know where that was all going to go. I wasn't trying to be like a Roots influencer. Like it just happened. And still to this day, like I'll feel guilty sometimes when I like go to a different coffee shop and like put them in my stories. I'm like, oh my gosh, I hope they don't see.
But I think that's just the point. Like it's not about like, again, you're not the Chamber of Commerce. So your job is not to go around. No, maybe you want to do a series where you're going to visit and like figure out a couple things.
I'm going to find the coziest coffee shop to work from. As
the most
a Lake Country
places.
realtor.
Yes. Like, so good. But, like, I'm thinking, like, I go to the library and I go to, like, basketball games. I honestly don't go, I go to the hardware sometimes. But, like, I don't go to a ton of places. I'm not, like, this, like, local junkie.
Donuts.
Right. There's, like, a diner or two that we go to a lot. Oh, we do have good donuts. But
Ayla brings donuts every time she comes here, and my whole family is obsessed.
They are really
She
good
brings
donuts.
my husband's parents their own box, which I'm going to take some.
So I think that we need to give ourselves a little bit of grace, but also it is a little bit of a kick in the pants to be like, you can't, if you're a local business owner, which as a real estate agent you are, it's your obligation to be involved in your community. And you can choose how you want to. I don't go to every single event that there is. We don't attend every single farmer's market. I don't go to all of the, I don't even go to like the kids events that the library hosts. I just show up, and I talk to some people while I'm there. And then I go home. But like doing those things and documenting those things, sharing that, like it is powerful. And I think as a modern agent, you can't afford not to be doing that.
I also think if you would do this even once a month, you would have content that's local that you can put on repeat. And like we even said, mix it along with like getting in your car is a clip, or like putting your coffee into the coffee holder. It could be a pretty drive in the fall or in the summer. Like there's so many different ways you can showcase those things. Or a neighborhood tour, or did you know this neighborhood has a pool and a walking path and a kids playground? Like no, most people probably wouldn't know that. And then they're going to be like, wait, I didn't really know about this neighborhood. And you know everything. So I'm going to have you answer my questions about subdivisions and where I should look.
So I feel like we had a little bit of tough love.
Yeah.
And we also had a lot of fun ideas. What should their homework be? If someone wants to really be a modern agent marketing girl, what should they do this week to really leverage local?
I want you to send us a DM. You can just send it to the Modern Agent account and tell us one local thing you want to put on repeat in your content.
I would love to see that.
It could be a series, a coffee shop, a hardware store, a post office. My goal is to take a picture of every post office and every town I go to.
I love that.
And that's like just for fun.
So tag us on all your post office photos.
Yes, please send me those. And then just tell us like what is one local thing you could capture, document, go to, support, one place. Name one thing or place. It doesn't have to be a brick and mortar. It could be, we didn't even get into this, a local photographer, a local blogger,
local maker,
a local hairstylist. Like you could go on and on and on and on.
All the things.
Where you get your nails done.
We'll do way more episodes about local and
different spins.
Yes, and give like series ideas and all of that too. But I feel like this at least like lays the foundation of like local is not optional. and it is more than sharing events.
I think also these first like 5 episodes ish are really like, if you ever are feeling stuck with like what to do on Instagram, like circle back through these. These are going to be like, hopefully at least, I hope it is like a breath of fresh air for you. Like, hey, this isn't that hard, or it doesn't have to be so complicated.
Don't overthink it.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be so fancy, or like, I don't need a videographer to do this.
No.
I just kind of need to like get my phone and leave my house.
Yep.
Even on the way to your next showing, go get something.
And can we just say, we haven't even touched on this, but like, just the last thought, when you do these things, you start having more fun.
Yes.
Like, instead of just working from home all the time, which I love working from home, but instead of just doing that, if you take your stuff to a local coffee shop and get yourself a little treat, like, it almost romanticizes the lifestyle of a real estate agent. And you get to like reap the benefits of that. Like, you get to experience like the joy. Not only will your reel or your video look more magical, but you were there. Like, you're the one that filmed it. You're the one that felt it. Like, that's so cool. And like, it's one way to just add a little bit more like life and fun into your regular work week.
And your client experience. Like, in the same way, you could go grab whatever the like coffee of the month is, like the avalanche latte at Roots, which is like a marshmallowy thing, and bring the seasonal coffee drink to your buyer consultation.
Yeah.
Or to your sellers, or like something like a
pumpkin
fun little
spice
treat.
Latte, whatever. Yeah. Yep. So, I'm excited for people to start seeing this. I hope that most agents are seeing this not as a to-do list, but as like, oh, now I have a ton of ideas. And again, just pick one to start with.
Pick one.
And like, just leverage it, see where it goes, and then tag us in all of it, because we really want to see it.
Yes, your homework. DM us. Maybe we could pick a winner.
Let's do that.
Whoever DMs us, or anyone who DMs us their local spot, we're going to pick one person the week after this episode airs, so within a week, to win some secret marketing girls.
Secret marketing girl.
Modern Agent Marketing Girls merch.
I love that.
Okay, fun.
Cool.
All right.
Well, cheers.
Cheers. We actually have some wine.
Let's do it.
Cheers.
Cheers.
See you.
Tuesday.
I'm so glad we got to hang out today. If you're as sad as I am that our time is up, I've got good news. There are a couple of different ways we can keep the conversation going.
First, follow us on Instagram at Modern Agent Marketing Girls and introduce yourself in the DMs. Also, we always have a free Modern Agent resource available, so check out today's show notes for the goods.
And finally, hang out with other go-to real estate girls like you and finally create a marketing plan that works when you join Modern Agent Social Club. All the details are in today's notes.
XOXO, the Marketing Girls.